Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Gothalion, and welcome back to Destiny. Bungie put out a new patch today that changed a lot of exotics and added a few things to the game. And I'm going to try to go over them pretty quick because it's a pretty long list of changes. Some things, actually most things will probably make most people pretty happy. Some things might make some other people a little bit unhappy, but we're going to go over one of the biggest changes so far. And that's the addition of materials being added to the tower that you can trade Crucible or Vanguard marks for. Now, you can either go to the Crucible Quartermaster, or you can come over here to the Vanguard Quartermaster to exchange 10 marks for 20 of any given material. Now, this used to be turning in 50 materials for rep and for marks. So, they've made it so you're no longer allowed to farm materials and turn them in for marks and rep, which is kind of a downside for some people, but I feel like the trade-off is well worth it in this situation, because we could come in and we could get, oh, I need some spin metal, so I'm just going to spend, 10 Vanguard marks, get 20 spin metal, and you could just stock up. So I've been saving my Vanguard marks, and this gives us another reason to go and do strikes, and I feel like it's actually a lot more efficient than running in circles farming chests. Yeah, because that was a good time. You can still do that. If you get relaxation out of that, you can still do that, but this really encourages you to spend more time in those strikes. But you know what, Bungie? Let's get some more strikes in, and then we could talk about how much time I want to spend in strikes. I like doing them, but I could only do them for so long. So I'm actually a big fan of this material exchange, and it's one of the biggest changes inside of this patch. The next thing is they've actually changed the way that you upgrade exotic weapons. Exotic weapons, I have one in my inventory right now that needs to be upgraded, no longer take Ascendant materials. As you can see, Ascendant energies have been removed. So this goes for both armor and for weapons. But what it's been replaced with is exotic shards. It takes one exotic shard to upgrade the last damage bubble on an exotic weapon. One exotic shard. So how do we get exotic shards? Well, you can either dismantle an exotic item, and each exotic item is pretty much guaranteed to give you exotic shards, or you could get them from Jur over the weekend for, I believe, 7 strange coins it was, which is really not all that much. See, it's 7 or 9. I'm pretty sure it's 7. But, so a few strange coins could get you an exotic shard if you don't have any spare exotics lying around to take apart. Also, keep in mind that you could use those motes of light over the weekend to get an exotic engram, and then tear that apart and just get some exotic shards stockpiled up. So, if you're like me and you have a lot of exotics, this is actually not so bad, and I feel like this really caters to someone who's more of a casual player, because it could take a long time to get all of those Ascendant materials together, and instead, you could just wait till the weekend, hop on, spend some coins on Jur. This will only require you to do your weekly strike, which will only take you up to like 30, 45 minutes tops during the week. So for guys who are not like me and do not have a lot of time in order to pour into the game and end up with, God, how many fucking shards in there? I have 359 cent shards. You guys want some? I wish I could give them to you. I can't. Send them through the mail, say I love you. So now we have exotic shards, which you only need 1 to fully upgrade it. So you're not looking at 21 Ascendant shards for a thing. You just need 1 exotic shard and you can fully upgrade your exotic weapon, which is A+ number 1 for me. I like that change. So now we're going to go over the changes that they did to some weapons. There's a lot of changes. I'm going to try to go over most of them as best I can. I'm actually going to have the patch notes pulled up in front of me because there's so much to remember and I don't want to fuck any of it up. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Thorn. The Thorn had its reload increased, it had its magazine increased, it also had its ammo inventory size increased, and stability and weapon handling increased. This is an overall huge buff for the Thorn. On top of that, its DOT, the Mark of the Devourer, actually does a lot more damage now. I mean, a significant amount of damage. I mean, I put a couple dots on a Cabal, and he died from dots. That shoot him in the shield, and the dot killed him, so pretty good. Moving on, we're going to look at the Bad Juju. Bad Juju used to be just very bad, and they actually changed the string of curses along with weapon automatically reloading when you get a kill, and a short damage buff after you get a kill. You get some extra super energy, and that is really good. They also increased its bursts from, I believe it was 5 to 8 rounds to 8. Yep, 8 bursts from 5, which is significant. That's a lot of bursts, especially if you're continually getting a kill, which means you are continually firing. It feels like just an infinite ammo weapon. It's a lot of fun to use now. I really like the bad juju, and I'm going to show you why even more so in another video. The hard light I don't have yet, but it had stability increased, and perfect balance was replaced by fitted stock. Suro's regime got a little bit of a PvP nerf. Now, the Suro's regime, towards the end of the magazine, the last shot would do just a buttload of damage, and was really kind of overpowered in PvP, and a lot of people really leaned on the Suros. The Suros became like the end-all, be-all auto rifle for PvP. Bungie doesn't like that, so they made it so that buff is actually more comparable to the glass half full inside of most legendary auto rifles, which is not a bad buff. This is a PvP nerf, not a PvE nerf. It might affect PvE slightly, but this change probably needed to happen. The Monte Carlo, which is an exotic that is a exclusive to PlayStation, had its stability increased, range slightly decreased, and the Monte Carlo upgrade now has a chance to fully recharge melee override, melee attack skill, which is great. It happens about 33% of the time. Super terrific. The Hawk Moon had its Send It buff replaced by Speed Reload, which is a really significant reload buff, and Send It was only slightly better than Hammer Forged, and it was kind of redundant inside the tree. And this thing already has decent range on it, so I really like the speedy reload. It's really nice, and it can make for some super good DPS in a mid-range fight. Next up, we're looking at the Red Death, which I don't have on me, but rate of fire increased slightly, but burst damage reduced to compensate. The Plan C, which I have Plan C, weapon handling speed increased and player speed increased while Plan C is enhanced, so this is just an inherent buff. You are going to move faster while holding the Plan C, which is always a Crucible favorite. This is a great weapon, and you can expect complete reviews and overviews on these weapons in the future. I just wanted to go over the changes with you guys real quick. The Pocket Infinity, you can now get a 5 magazine with the extended mag, which is not quite as good as extended battery, but still a really good buff, and makes the Pocket Infinity more usable, and the weapon handling speed is increased. Wait, nope, that's the Plan C. Reload speed upgrade increased by extended clip. Whoops. Oh well. Information overload! Ignore that part. The Vex Mythoclast, which is the big one, it had its attack buffed from 300 to 323, which returned it to its glory days of absolutely obliterating shit in PvE combat. Now, this stat is mostly irrelevant inside of the Crucible, so relative PvP damage is still kind of nerfed, though they did fix the base damage, which had a bug to it. It was decreased way more than they had intended to, so they fixed that bug. So you actually might see a little bit more damage from the Vex inside PvP, but it's mostly a PvE buff. Also, extended battery was replaced by extended mag, which instead of giving it like 60 or 51 something fucking goddams, it has 35, which is decent, or you can just go with Send It if you want to use this thing like kind of a mini sniper rifle, which is not all that bad. Next up, we got the Invective. Invective now has a much higher reload speed, but its burst fire, its auto fire is a little bit slower, but it's really not all that noticeable. But the reload speed is totally fucking noticeable and really good. This is hands down probably my favorite shotgun in the game. I'm gonna have to do another review on it. Next up, we got the Icebreaker. Icebreaker Send It upgrade was replaced by lightweight. Send It didn't need to be there because range, let's face it, already max. All right, cool. And also now it makes enemies explode into cluster bombs and kill shit around it. It changed the effect of enemies exploding in this thing, so it's pretty cool. Patience and Time. Snapshot upgrade replaced by Custom Optics. Custom Optics kind of makes the scope shorter, which I like because sometimes I felt like the scope was kind of long on the Patience and Time. Super Good Advice had its stability increased, which makes it a actually decent machine gun now. So Super Good Advice is now the marginally good machine gun. Good job. The Truth had its magazine increased to 3 from 2. It says 1 on the Bungie tooltip thing. Whatever, they're wrong. It says magazine. It's increased to 3 now. When you get the thing for the magazine increase, I think. Or 2. Maybe it had it increased to 2 from 1. I don't fucking know, dude. Figure your shit out, Bungie. Anyways, so activities. The raid, you can no longer push the Templar off, though I give it only a matter of a week before somebody figures out how to cheese that son of a bitch again. Atheon is now supposed to accurately port 3 people, thank God. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a raid, and I will write down any little bugs we get. Hopefully we don't get the permanent detain on the Templar. That would be a shame. What else? Bounties. They removed the Relic Hunter bounty, which is weird, because I like that one. And now, the Daily Patrol bounty will give you destination materials. That's like your Relic Iron and your Spirit Bloom and all that shit. The Cryptarch, you now get, less rep from turning in engrams, but he has a significantly higher chance, to give you legendary engrams, which is great. So, thanks, dickbag. Let's see. We already talked about Vanguard marks being other things, and Azure selling exotic shards. Faction class items are now replaced by faction emblems, which is cool, so now you don't have to wear those stupid looking capes or whatever. You can wear whatever you want, just wear an emblem and get some extra rep for factions. So yeah, guys, I will be doing in-depth overviews of all of these items. I cannot wait, especially this Bad Juju is fucking amazing with paired with something then things. I'll go over it. I like the Bad Juju a lot now, guys. Anyways, guys, let me know how you feel about this patch. I feel like they kind of made it a little bit easier on some people. They took like a couple of things away, like the turning in your things for faction reputation, but I think that's mostly irrelevant considering how fucking high most people are in their faction reputation. So the exchange turn in for materials kind of, I think it's not a big deal. Anyways, guys, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all back inside of Destiny.